the 2022 fantasy baseball season. I am Michael Govier, and this is the Rotofanatic positional rankings breakdown. Catcher version. We're focusing on catchers first. There's a playlist on our YouTube channel, which we'd love for you guys to subscribe to by subscribing to it. Rotofanatic, very easy. Also on Twitter at Roto_Fanatic. Follow us there. You get easy access to all of our articles, all the work we're doing here. We are ramping it up. We're taking it to another level. It's 2022, and we're still here. We're still doing our thing. So we'd very much like to be a part of your preparation for drafting and everything that you do when it comes to fantasy baseball analysis. And also, don't forget, we have a Rotofanatic content channel, which is all the podcasts that we do related to Rotofanatic inclusive material, such as the half-hour variety show. So check that out on your favorite podcast platform. Okay, so we got Paul Mamino, Matt Williams, Mike Carter, Davey Funnel, all here live and ready to rock to talk about everybody's favorite position, catcher. Woohoo! Yippee! Paul, how excited are you to talk about catchers?
Really not excited whatsoever.
That's passionate. Matt, can you top that passion?
I am like one step above him. I'm excited.
That was more okay. That was a little better. Mike, take it up another level.
Listen, I'm passionate about talking about anything that has to do with baseball in the middle of winter. Let's do this.
That was promising. I like that. And Dave, of course, it's the coldest spot of all of us right now where you are. How you living?
Oh, it's minus 1,000 up here, but I'm keeping warm with my catcher rankings. Let's do this.
Woo, okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm digging it. Rotofanatic is here to serve all of you, and we're going to talk about catchers in tiers. We're going to break them down tier by tier by tier, and we're going to start with tier 1. And tier 1 begins with Mike Carter.
Okay. Well, I think it's pretty clear, right? I mean, I think, everybody's probably got Sal Perez ranked as their number one catcher. The ADP right now is 32. It's a little rich for my blood. JT Realmuto, obviously, probably is the second guy, but I really like Will Smith, and I would put him in tier 1 simply because of the fact that I think if there's a DH, he's going to get a lot of at-bats. He's not going to help you with any of the steals and whatnot, but he might be the best pure hitter of the three.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I feel like top tier of catchers really not that. There's not that much there.
Right? No one disagrees. It's just top. Those are the top three. Kind of
Do you
move on?
Do you have them in that order, Matt?
I don't.
Quickly.
Yeah, I have Realmuto, Smith, then Perez. I mean, he's not repeating that in a million years. He has always been healthy throughout his career, other than one fluky season where he took off. But the amount of at-bats he got last year in plate appearances, he's never repeating that ever. So, yes, and they also have their own catcher coming up, which, he'll still stay in the lineup because of DH or moving to another position. But, yeah, I don't think he's going to, with his chase rate and his age, he's continuing to get older. The wheels could fall off in a really weird way. It'd be one thing if he was younger and he went this aggressive approach. But, yeah, I mean, I've seen him go in the second round in some drafts. Yeah. So, I mean, even if you have him one, I'm never drafting him this year, but he's certainly in the top tier. But, yeah, those are my three: Perez, Realmuto, and Smith. Definitely, clearly the top three.
Matt, yeah. Why Realmuto over Smith for you?
Well, the DH is coming, and I think Realmuto being able to get that extra time off the little nagging injuries aside, I think Will Smith will be the better hitter, but Realmuto will steal some bags, which is a big deal. Other than Vasquez and Varsha, you're not really getting them. Mm-hmm. So I think that separates him, at least in Roto, that separates him enough from me.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. I would agree with that. Is anybody real quickly concerned about all of the potential studs that are at the catcher area for the Royals system here? I mean, Sal Perez is not going to lose any playing time, but does that concern anyone in the slightest, or is that an unnecessary concern? Guys like MJ Melendez and some of these dudes that are on the brink who had monster minor league seasons last year.
I don't think it's going to impact this year.
Okay.
Ask me this in 2023 and probably, but for this year, I don't really foresee there being a reason.
And they signed him did they sign Sal to a long-term deal like last preseason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not going anywhere. You're right.
They had all these guys. So, I mean, yeah, first base DH, he's sticking around.
Yeah, he'll play. I think
Melendez plays everywhere too.
Yeah.
Was that
No, I think Melendez can play around the field too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, they were kind of preparing him for a role like that, weren't they? Didn't they say before the season ended that they were going to prepare him to be sort of a quote unquote super sub type of guy?
Yeah, something like that.
That always works out.
Brilliantly.
It does.
Yeah,
it sure does.
He played some third in AAA. Only 9 games, but still.
Yeah, but they got to add Alberto Mondesi, who's going to play 150 games, so they're set at third.
Oh boy! All right, we're playing the hits early here on our Rotofanatic catcher breakdown. We're doing it by tiers. Tier 1, pretty clear. Looks like there's no arguments there. Let's move to tier 2 then. And does it lead off for anybody with Dalton Varsha?
I think he deserves his own tier.
Ooh,
I think he's I think he's a weird player. I've seen him go right after Smith in drafts sometimes, or into the next tier. But I think it depends on what you think of him. Either you're ignoring him completely, and a draft price, you're either in or out. So I don't know. I think he's this weird hybrid tier where it's the top tier, and then hey, do you believe in Varsha or not? Yes, say yes, draft him. Say no, move on to the next tier. Mm-hmm. It's a choose your own adventure game.
See,
I don't think you throw him in there with Grandal Contreras because he's just a completely unique person. They're not like interchangeable in any way.
See, it blows my mind that I get the steals component and all that. I just don't fully understand why he's going ahead of those guys. I think, and it might be that, again, kind of what you're saying, Matt. I don't necessarily believe in him or don't believe in him, but those guys they're going to play every single day and are better. You're putting a lot into this.
You're talking real baseball, though. In fantasy, though, if you look at Varsho's second half, actually had a killer batting average. And if he's going to have a full season stealing bases, this guy could be the number 1 catcher. And he could be it easily if he plays every day. So, I mean, I get it. I'm going to have 2 pairs of Varsha, and he's definitely not someone you want to go overboard on.
Carson Kelly.
Crashes, you're dead. But Diamondbacks aren't very good. He'll be in the lineup every day between outfield, DH, catcher. He'll be in every day, I think. I believe in the second half he put up, and he doesn't have to be better than the other 2 to be better than in fantasy, in my opinion.
I guess, yeah. I mean, Contreras loses a lot with the Cubs' offense being a little bit worse, but
your argument is kind of my argument, where I think he deserves to be his own tier. If you're looking to go a traditional route, Varsho's not your guy. Either you're buying into that or you're not. It's almost like just because he's so unique.
So, do we want to make a tier 1B or a tier 1V and just call it the Varsha tier?
The Joker card right there. I like number 2.
It's a high price for him. I mean, his ADP right now in NFBC is 98.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of risk. Like Matt said, if you believe, cool. If you don't, if you got questions, I'd probably look elsewhere.
Like I said, I'm gonna have some shares. I'm not going to go overboard because if he crashes, you're pretty dead at that price. But if you believe there's 15 to 20 steals to be had, it gives you the ability to not have to be balanced everywhere. It opens up the possibility to take some power guys with no speed later. It really allows you to have a more flexible option.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But it's not for everybody.
But I think from a tiering standpoint, I guess I just have a hard time putting him in his own. Because when I look at tiers, I would put them in an order, and I don't necessarily think he should be in a position above the other 2 guys. It's a build concept, right?
Yeah, well, here you really go tier 1, Perez, Real Muto, Smith, and then I don't know, put him in yellow, when you pull over to the side in a board game. All right, you're either going to take the route like in the game of life. You're either going to take the Dalton Varsha route, or you're going to get on the game of life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since January 1st, ADP on NFBC.com is 88.4 for Mr. Varsha, which does, in a way, kind of identified by the ADP here that you see on your screen, put him in a different tier because the first 3 are kind of grouped together, and then after Varsha, there's a drop with then Grandal and further drops from there. So I think there's some credence to what you're saying, and you are talking to 2021's biggest Dalton Varsha fan by far last year. I can't remember how many times I tweeted about him and got excited about him having a breakthrough. In that period in July where he started to heat up and it started crushing the ball, I got really turned on. I'm not going to lie.
Well, what are the odds you think he finishes like 2019 Real Muto with 25 home runs, 9 steals, 275?
I think there's more of a chance he finishes
better.
No.
Fewer homers, more steals.
Yeah, flip the homers and steals
Agreed.
and drop the batting average a little bit, and I think you're there. But give me that in a million years. Yeah, give me that all day long.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to go with? So I guess we're kind of talking about the same grouping, right? So we'll call it the choose your own adventure tier, and then tier 2 is just Grandal and Contreras. Just your
I think
your guys that are going to play every day, that are going to hit in the middle of orders.
Yeah,
I'll take last of that.
I believe in Stevenson, but he doesn't have a track record in the others too.
I do too. I had Stevenson in a tier there too, but I think he's going to get the at bats and the playing time. Right? They got Barnhart's out of there, and with Mike's Detroit Tigers now. I mean, I'd put him in the tier personally. I had him in this tier, to be honest with you guys.
Well, I don't know. Does anyone with me and Mike?
I don't have him in the same group as those guys. I think I value their track record a little bit more. But
that's a great point.
But I won't fight you if you really feel strongly about putting him there.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah.
Could we do 2 tiers? One taking a step forward tier and one track record tier? Because we've got like Keibert Ruiz coming up too, who could take that next step forward with Varsha and Stevenson, and then you could put Grandal and Contreras in their own, like, we know what they are tier, as opposed to what we think they might be tier.
Personally, I think there's a massive drop off after Stevenson, though. I don't put Stevenson and Ruiz together personally. Okay. I think I think you got the top 7 catchers, and then it's just like that's that's how much I like Stevenson, though. But that's just me.
I love Stevenson so much. Matt, you are really hitting all of my feels on this show with the catchers. I love Stevenson. I love Varsha. These are 2 of my favorite catchers this year, so I'm with you.
All right.
I mean, I'm in between. It's like I understand not wanting to put him with Grandal and Contreras because of track record, but I think he's well ahead of the rest of the pack, Stevenson. So unless we're giving him his own sub tier again, I don't know what.
No,
I think it's a fair point.
All right, let's
make the noted point.
I mean, Davey thinks that he's a little closer to the other. Does anyone else disagree with me that Stevenson is a pretty good margin above the rest of the pack there in terms of he probably has a good chance of getting those everyday at bats with the DH playing other positions, and I think he's already proven that he can hit at the major league level.
He can hit, yeah. I think he's going to be fine. Honestly, I mean, if we're really talking about ADP here, I would rather take a shot at Stevenson where he's going than risk it with Varsha going where he's going, which is why I don't win championships.
Hey-o! All right, I'm good with him being in that tier above because I think he's ahead. I think he's similar to some of the guys in that next grouping, but potentially ahead of them because he's been a little bit better of a hitter.
Okay, so just one last thing then. They've got Steamer has Stevenson at 13 home runs, 48 RBIs, and 264. And they have Keibert Ruiz at 16 home runs, 55 RBIs, and a 270 batting average. Are you guys saying Stevenson's a lot more than that, or Ruiz is a lot less than that?
I think Stevenson definitely the over. I think Ruiz, the thing with him is his floor is just so much lower.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he conceivably could be so bad he doesn't play. I don't think that, but I mean, we don't know. There's no reason to believe he'll be anything other than, I mean, it's a big question mark.
Well, and I think there's a question mark about playing time with Ruiz too, because I think Rizzo said at one point that they were looking for a little bit more of an equal split. They were talking about him maybe catching 100 games, and if that's the case, then then it's a real problem.
Okay,
I don't mind Ruiz. I mean, if he does hit, I could see him getting DH at bats because he has the ability to hit that well, but who knows if he will? Right?
That's the key.
That's
the key right there.
Like
that's the key.
Ceiling and floor so far apart.
The key there.
So tier 1 is Perez, Realmuto, Smith, and tier 2. Tier 2A, tier variable, part 1, the sequel. Dalton Varsho, possibly. Yeah, tier B. And then we've got this next tier here, which I want to clarify one more time, just so that the audience can follow us too. So who do we have in this next tier after Varsho, or if it includes Varsho?
It's Grandal, Contreras, and Stevenson.
Okay. No objections, right?
I'm good with that.
I'm good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So It'll fly. All right, so this is the Rotofanatic Catcher's Breakdown, of course. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Roto_Fanatic. That's always fun. It's a fun place. And, of course, the website, rotofanatic.com. You check out the Closers report. Closers is Mike Carter's specialty. Mike, what do you love more than closers? Is there anything in the world that you love more than closers?
God, there's not a thing, especially when there's like 8 bullpens that we know what's going to happen, which means that there's 22 shit shows waiting to happen.
Mike, who's closing for the Red Sox? I just drafted Garrett Whitlock in an NFBC 50.
It's going to be Garrett Whitlock.
Matt Barnes.
I think they're going to give Barnes a chance to work it out, but my God, I just can't see that they're going to be. If they're serious about competing, how can they do that?
I took Whitlock because I figured, all right, if this doesn't work out for me, at least I have Garrett Whitlock. He'll still be good.
Yeah,
I mean, he'll be good wherever
call.
he's at, right?
His worst case scenario is still contributing to my team.
His worst case scenario is Jonathan Loaiziga from last year. Well,
I
not
love
last year.
Jonathan Loaiziga.
Actually.
No, I'm saying
I
that's
drafted him
the
last
same thing, right? He's your
Yeah.
worst case is he's your like 6th inning guy when the starter fails.
Hey, if this day and age, rack up all those wins,
Yep.
you'll probably end up with more wins than a lot of starters.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Ugh.
All right, so there it is. Man, he does love closers. And by the way, Matt Barnes, the walks will catch up with you. Oh, yes, the
They
walks
always-
will catch up with you.
They always do.
All right, can
All right,
we
let's
just
move
put
on to
every
the
other
next-
catcher in this next tier and just leave?
Oh, boy, here we go. I can tell Paul was so excited to talk about this next tier specifically that he emailed me last night at 3:30 in the morning. He's like, Mike, make sure that you're on time and ready to go to record the show because I am so stoked when it comes to tier 3 of catchers. Right, Paul?
Paul loves Sean Murphy.
Oh,
I actually like this tier a lot.
on
half
three,
jokingly.
on 3, Paul, say how many catchers you have in your next tier, and I'll say it at the same time, all right? Well-
Can I just say where I stop?
Oh, well, you have a lot more than I do then.
All right, go ahead. Who do you have? How many you got?
I have 5. Period.
See,
I have Garver, Vasquez, Ruiz, Rutschman, and Darno. That's it.
See, I guess because the next grouping below that,
I mean, I could put Murphy in there too.
the next grouping below that runs into the same flawed player, essentially, right? If depending on how you feel about Murphy, Sanchez, and Zunino, you're hoping that they hit 20 plus home runs for you at a catcher position that you don't necessarily have.
It's more of a plate appearance thing. I could see Kirk losing his plate appearances. I could see Diaz. I could see Sanchez, Zunino.
I
I-
don't think
before I-
Zunino's going to lose. I get what you're saying.
I think his backup is a lot better than he is. Francisco Mejia. I mean, I'm actually drafting him a lot in 2 catcher leagues as my 3rd or 4th catcher because I think Zunino could be bad enough to lose at bats, plenty of at bats to him.
He's so good defensively, though.
Yes, he is.
That's the reason he plays, right? And then he has enough power to hit you 25 home runs, which I think makes him fit. I feel like the way I look at this tier is I'm okay with this guy being one of the first catcher coming from this grouping, and I don't hate getting Zunino or Murphy or one of those guys as my first catcher.
But, well, instead of having one giant tier, I'd have Ruiz, at least going to NFBC, I'd have Ruiz, Rutschman, Garver, Darno, Vasquez, Murphy in a tier. And then I'd have Kirk, Diaz, Sanchez, Zunino, Narvaez, Kelly, Molina as another tier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically just like kind of the end of the road.
No Bart for you there?
James McCann would sneak in there too. But yeah,
Wow.
that's it.
This is getting this is getting drawn out into so Gary Sanchez. No one likes Gary Sanchez anymore, right? Nobody on the show.
He's with Zunino for me. It's just for power.
This,
Like that's what I'm. If I need power, I'll take him late.
do I have slightly more I'd rather Zunino than Sanchez, but exactly like Davey said, you're drafting him for the same reason.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the only reason.
I think Zunino's at bats are more safe. If the Yankees had a slightly better backup than Kyle Higashioka last year, I think Sanchez would have lost a lot of at bats. But
You think
he got
Zunino's that much more safe than Sanchez at bat wise?
so good defensively.
Oh, I agree.
Well,
He's
and Tampa, that's what plays, right? If you,
Yeah.
you have to be able
I'd
to
be
do
fine
that.
dropping of the 2 tiers I'd said. I'd be fine dropping Sanchez out of the next one altogether.
Yeah, I didn't have Sanchez in that in that next tier either.
Give
So,
us your next tier, Carter. What's
let's
yours?
work on the third one again.
I had, in no particular order, I had Murphy, Darno, Garver, Vasquez, and I had Zunino and then Stacy Max Stacy.
Hold on. Why don't we yell out a guy at a time and let's all vote and let's just lock in some names for this next tier. Let's see.
Well, it's just Ruiz. Yes. Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Rushman. We'll go through it down NFBC.
Rutschman's not in my tier.
No.
I don't agree. I don't think he should be in 3 either.
No.
Do you guys think he'll be up right away?
June?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
think
too much
he's-
CBA confusion here.
Now, if we find
Right.
out he's up right away, where are you putting him?
He probably falls into he will be drafted higher than I want to draft him and won't draft him for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yep.
we know he's the opening catcher, I'd fine putting him in this tier. Doesn't mean I want him, but I think I'd put him in this tier.
Okay. No, that's good to know the potential.
Yeah, so I think he's got to go in the one below just because
Yeah, for now. Yeah, I agree.
for now because there's too much uncertainty there.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
So do we got just Ruiz for now?
So Darno. Anybody have an issue with him being there?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think he should play almost every day
Yeah.
as long as the 100 game or the 50 games before he gets hurt. But
Yeah.
Garver.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Are you worried at all about? I think Govia, you're gonna. You worried about Jeffers playing time? Or
Yes.
splitting playing time.
I think Garver played injured. He was great otherwise. I think he's actually I love him this year.
He's not getting any younger either. I know he's in his 30s. He's a catcher, but that doesn't mean anything. Always, these are specific areas. But I think they like Jeffers' bat. The power's popped, yes, but nothing else popped last year other than the power. So it's a matter of where are the Twins? Where are they going right now? How do they see themselves? And I kind of feel like they realize that the party's over. They totally a huge dud was dropped last year. We all know that. And I think they're going to go with guys like Jeffers over Garver. And I would be a little paranoid about taking Garver in this tier.
That's fair.
I'm worried about Garver's health, to be honest, too. I don't know. He had the one good year, and then he's either been hurt or struggling. So
I think he's going to get every. I'm a fan of his, so I think he's going to get every chance for it to be his job. But
he's actually my number 8 catcher overall.
Yeah, I don't think the Twins think that they're rebuilding. I think that they think that last year was an aberration, and they're gonna play to get back into this thing right away.
I don't think they're rebuilding either, Mike. To clarify, what I think is they still want to compete very much, but how they go about it, who they play, who gets opportunities like Kirilloff and the younger guys, they might get more of an opportunity to play now. They're not going to lean on some of the veterans, although they still have some of them on the roster, but
right.
That's still to be determined. But that's what I mean by that. They're very much trying to compete still.
All right. I think we have
everyone vote.
More in favor of him in this, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's 3-2, right?
Yeah.
Did Garver get the majority?
Yeah, so maybe he's
in.
a guy we should write up the argument for and against for this tier.
Oh yeah.
Write him down.
I feel
Write him
like that's
down
a good
on the list.
I feel like that's a good one to.
We got Ruiz, Garver, Darno.
Right.
Next.
So Vasquez.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah.
The speed is so overlooked, and he gets so many plate appearances. Yeah. I mean, I know his counting stats are disappointing for the amount of plate appearances, but he freaking gets them.
Well, he was really good in both 19 and 20.
Yes, he was.
It's and I mean, he hit 260 last year. I'll take 260. The power wasn't there, but I think he's one of the last guys that you're really confident with the at-bats he's going to get.
Didn't he only hit like 2 home runs in the first week, and then he did nothing though?
He had 6 all year.
Yeah, but didn't he have I'm trying to look up his games. It was like
I think he hit a few really early, and then or he had one stretch. I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I know for a large period of time he wasn't hitting any home runs.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of him last year, and he played in a ton of games and didn't do much of anything.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he had 8 steals though. That was
the steals are big. Yeah,
it goes under the radar pretty much every year for him.
That was a
Does
big
anyone
reason
worry
why
about
I had
Connor
him.
Wong, by the way? I mean, they traded for him in the deal that went back for the Betts deal, I believe, and he's 25 now. If you'd have to be a prospects guy to verify if you like Wong or not. I kind of like him, but I don't know if I like him enough to be worried about playing time for a team that is very much contending this coming seson.
Yeah, it's a contract year for Vasquez too. I mean, he'd probably be better this year than he was, but Steamer doesn't love him, right? I mean, they're not giving him a lot of games this year. They 87 games in Steamer. Like, ooh.
Yeah, I think he ends up playing more than that. Although
I do too.
They did let
they're on something. That's a typo or that's just wrong.
Yeah.
Let's not even start the projection discussion here, please.
Don't mention Steamer again. They just need to be blown off the earth. They're terrible.
Yeah, all right. I like that. That's the heat I'm looking for on this cold night. All right. So, Paul, clarify any other names on this tier. You were on a roll there.
So we have
Yay or nay?
we have Ruiz, Darno, Garver, Vasquez. We said no to Rushman in this tier. The next ADP guy on FBC would be Alejandro Kirk.
No.
He feels the same thing to me as Rushman, right? If he plays, cool. I just don't know how much he's gonna play.
He's traded.
There's no other nice way to say this. I don't think he's in good enough shape to play baseball.
Yes.
I mean, I literally think him not taking his health seriously, it did cost him last year, and I think it will continue to. Knees, ankles, whatever. I think he'll have lots of time on the injured list.
And there's 3 catchers there too.
Yeah.
They
love Danny Jansen. Doesn't really
Moreno.
Yeah, they got him on the way up. So
it's like Danny Jansen has naked pictures of somebody in the front office or something. They just keep giving him opportunity after
Maybe they're naked pictures of Reed McGuire. Reese McGuire. Sorry, I got his name wrong. Jeez, I blew that joke.
No, that's a really good joke. It's nasty. I like it.
All right. Now, does anyone feel strongly that any other guy not named at the moment should be in this grouping?
I don't know about
Pretty much Sean
strongly,
Murphy.
but yeah, Murphy. I mean, 17 home runs, and I expect him to be healthier this season in a team that really needs his bat. Actually, when they gut the thing, so I wouldn't mind putting him in the next tier, but I think he could easily work. I think he could easily work his way into this tier.
I got a guy too. Even though he wasn't that great last year, Omar Narvaez, I really like his bat. I always have. And I know they picked up Pedro Severino from the Orioles as the backup now too, so people might be paranoid about him losing at bats, but I don't think that's going to be the case because Narvaez is just that much better of a hitter, and he's a solid defender. He's not a mind blower, but he's got 20 home runs. There should be 20 home runs on that bat if he gets full playing time. And the best part is his batting average floor is really ideal at a position that is god-awful for batting average.
I really do think he's in a hardcore platoon, though. I think that's what they're going to do with him.
like 60-40, 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, it really drags him down. I mean, I like everything you said, Mike, other than the fact that I am very worried that he's not going to play as much.
Yeah, that's fair. That could be trouble. There's no doubt about it. That'll be one of the most interesting parts of the Brewers season I'll be curious about. So I guess we could wait, knowing that everyone agrees then. Carter, are you down or are you against?
Yeah, I like Narvaez too. I mean, I think he had a one really good year in Seattle in 19, and he played for the Sox for a couple of years before they moved him on, and they were really big into platooning him as well. So I'm wondering if maybe the league knows something that I do not. But I think honestly, when I think about this glob here of catchers, I'm kind of okay with getting somebody out of this tier in a one catcher league, quite honestly, because if they don't do well, I can just churn them and get somebody else.
Yeah, I think when you get to this tier, you're picking for what you want, what you need skill wise, right? So
hold on, are we on the?
Yeah. So we're gonna close this tier.
I was gonna come back. So
hold on, what do we do on Murphy?
Murphy, yes or no in tier? What is this? 4, 3, 3.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think you get a 20+ home runs and play clear nearly every day. That's my argument for him. It's a playing time thing, basically, because after this, the playing time questions really start to mount up.
So to reiterate, we have Ruiz, Darno, Garver, Vasquez.
That's it.
And then are we including Murphy in that grouping? Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Sure.
Oh.
Ringing endorsements from the Rotofanatic team. Yeah. Okay.
If we're not buying what I'm selling, shoot it down.
No,
if I gotta.
I think he fits here because I think if we look at him, Zunino, and Sanchez, let's call those three guys kind of in a similar position. He has the best chance to hit for a higher average than the other two, which I think puts him deserving of that grouping. So,
yeah, I would. I mean, Tyler Soderstrom's still too young, so I'm good here. I think he's fine. He's fine.
He's another guy with really good defense too. I mean, he's going to play.
Yeah. All right. So that is our tier 3. So now we'll move on to our next one. Going back to Rushman and Kirk, are we putting them both in this grouping?
I'm not. I'm out on those guys there, but
I mean, I'm not drafting either of them, but I put them in this tier. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think they don't fit lower than this.
Yeah.
Right.
Because especially we're dealing with 2 catcher leagues here for a lot of people too. You might want to take the flyer on some talent. I think this is the spot to do it.
Okay.
there's
So
a lot of guys below here that I would put in my tier, but we have to do a general consensus here, so I will go along with the party.
Well, what do you guys think, Mr. Doctor and Dave?
I missed who we were talking about there. I had to
Rushman and Adley and Kirk.
We're on the next tier here, Davey. What do you think?
I love Rushman. I think he's the real deal. So, like we said, if he's up in April, I'm picking him as soon as I can because I think he's the real deal. But like we said, right now it looks like it might be June, so I'd be a little leery right now. You don't want to draft someone who's not going to play for 2 months.
I don't think you'll get anyone arguing with you there. I think Kirk's the interesting one, whether we think he belongs here or not, because I still would be fine pushing him an additional one, not Adley, but Kirk himself. Like, I would be fine going with Zunino, Adley, and a few of the other, boring people.
Yeah,
leaving Kirk out of it, but I don't know.
I don't know. I know Jansen's been working on stuff in the offseason. I know he took April last year. You take out his April and May, and he actually had a pretty decent year. So I think there's time for there's room for Jansen to come back. So I don't know. I don't trust Kirk or him to win it out right now. We've got to see who does. But I think they're both going to play. And like I said, there's a third catcher in Reese McGuire. So,
and plus Toronto can't be trusted to keep DH at bats open, especially with like George Springer probably is going to constantly need him and stuff. There will be no DH spots open for a catcher.
No.
Well, okay. So I guess we're here's how we think about this. Because I think this dictates my answer. Are we thinking if you're in a 1 catcher league, I think you have to put Kirk in this group because you pick him up in the beginning of the year, and if in the first week he doesn't play, you cut him, no harm, no foul. In a 2 catcher league, I think it's hard to take him with some of the other guys that are around here.
Yeah,
agreed.
So what tier?
What
are we tiering for?
Well, what are we doing for now? We like Adley here for sure, right?
Right, Adley's definitely in here.
Let's move on from Kirk for now.
All right, we can come back to Kirk. All right, so
Zunino, I think we all want him in.
Yeah, did we lock him in the last one or this one? Because
Zunino's in this one.
Zunino's in this
okay.
one.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's much argument there.
Nope.
We can jump. We'll jump down to Narvaez. I think we all kind of feel like he should belong here.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any argument there. Sanchez, is everyone good with him here? Or are we?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think kind of the same thing. If you're okay with Zunino being here, Sanchez is a little more risk associated with him, but they're the same player.
Yeah, You're in the 200s by then.
Yeah, this is you're probably not picking your first catcher from here. So going back to ADP, that's Elias Diaz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No.
If you think Gary Sanchez is in this thing, I think you got to think Elias Diaz is in here.
Absolutely.
All right, so then Govia, do you have Yadier Molina in there?
I
think both of those guys
do I have to.
I do. Isn't this just the desperation tier of grab guys that can play?
Right.
Yeah.
You're at your these guys play tier, which is both Diaz and Molina. They both play.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dom Nunez can't hit, so Diaz is going to get good.
Dom Nunez can't hit? That's harsh. Man, that's cold.
Under 200, I think, 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's true. But, I mean.
He's got power.
Yeah, he's going to look. He will not take this job. You're probably right. I'm probably just getting a little too excitable about it, but he definitely has more to offer, I feel like. And let's not go into a whole detailed breakdown of his situation, but Dom Nunez is sneaky there, and I think there's more value than we're realizing right now, but it's not enough to overtake Diaz, most likely, so fine. I'll acquiesce.
Okay. ADP, we have Joey Bart.
Ew.
Ew.
Nope. I definitely no.
I'm out on him, I think, too.
He's got to prove it, man. Big time to me.
I don't have an issue with that. Based off of our Varsha love, I'm assuming we don't have Carson Kelly in there.
I do. I know that sounds odd, but I do. He was so hot there before he got hurt last year when he hurt his
He was
wrist.
really good before he got hurt.
Yeah, I got
really
a
good.
I
problem
think
with
Kelly
him.
will play enough because I think Varsha will be in the outfield DH and stuff. They'll move him around.
Exactly. To your point earlier, Matt, the DH will be in business in the NL. Carson Kelly will get playing time. And in fact, I'm very, very high on him. I just drafted him last night, so I would be pro Kelly.
There's going to be a lot of at-bats for him after they trade Ketel Marte and David Peralta to the White Sox. So
It's the Tigers. I think you got that backwards.
no, I'm an idiot. I know it's not going to work out, but
Okay, so let's go to the next two guys that are probably going to play are Stassi, McCann.
Love Stassi. Love him.
Yeah,
But-
I think that's fine. I mean, McCann definitely for me.
yeah.
I think he's actually the best steal on the board in 2 catcher leagues.
I agree with you. I think he's far too low. He's going to play a ton in a lineup that should be really good.
Yeah, agreed.
Who's good? Thomas Nito's not going to play over him.
No. Nito only got in there when McCann was just struggling a little bit. And
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
McCann picked it up.
And Nito
He had a
also
nice second half. Yeah.
can't hit. So Stassi, good with Stassi?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I like Stassi. I think he's a good hitter. He was hurt a decent amount.
Health.
Catch-
Yep.
Yeah, catchers are boring. All right. I intentionally skipped over Eric Haas because I feel like that's
Yeah.
one that's going to require a little discussion. He's not going to play in the outfield.
He
Again.
can't. Oh, yeah. He can't be in this tier because there's no way his at bats are assured.
Right, yeah. He's not going to play a ton. He falls into
The,
the
out,
same.
the outfield will be filled, and the Barnhart will catch over him.
Yes, for sure.
Okay, so we'll drop him down. And then, all right. So guys that have skipped over. So,
I think that's the end for me.
yeah, because I was going to say the next names ADP-wise are Danny Jansen, Austin Nola, Jan Gomes.
And stalling.
That's a no.
Yeah, I think all those guys.
Yeah. Can we just do like, who's one guy of the next 10 or 15 that you just want to mention here who's a deep fly just for the hell of it? Just throw it out there.
Well,
Let's
Jonah
go around
Heim.
the room real quick.
Oh, I love Mejia. I already mentioned it.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
did.
Zunino, if Zunino were to get injured or gun into a deep hole, Mejia already got tons of at bats last year. This in 2 catcher leagues, I think Mejia just bats enough in general, where I think that he'll get plenty of room. But I think if he, for whatever reason, got an extended look, he's got double-digit home runs in there. I think for 2 catcher leagues only, I like him a lot.
Any Jonah Heim love?
I was just going to say that, Mike. I love Jonah Heim.
He was
I
good for a
think-
few weeks.
I mean, he's potentially going to have at bats, and at that rate should be a decent enough hitter to stay in that lineup. That lineup is not going to. It's better now, but
It's better.
I don't really see him being overtaken by what. Do they still have Trevino or? Yeah, they still have Trevino. Trevino can't hit at all.
They'll
so-
probably figure out a way to bring Jeff Mathis back at some
Yeah,
point.
they'll put somebody
Ew.
back there that doesn't belong. But yeah, I think he's the guy in this grouping of the everything else that I have some interest in.
Yeah, he intrigues me a little bit.
There has to be a sub.
You
There has
mentioned
to
him
be
earlier.
there just have to be one last sub tier here, right? Because there is a group of people here that actually are draftable in 2 catcher leagues, and then there is a spot where that stops.
Okay, so I got one.
Yeah,
for
there's
you then.
no doubt.
How about this? Who in San Diego gets traded and maybe has an impact? There's Alfaro, Austin Nola, Caratini, and the prospect. Probably not the prospect, Campusano. But
Campusano?
yeah, do you think any of those 3 get traded and have any
don't think-
value?
I don't think they'll trade Alfaro because they traded for him. But
He's got that outfield eligibility that's really it's what you want.
so exciting.
There's no room there.
Nothing I want more than to play a catcher in the outfield.
I'm not I'm not drafting a San Diego catcher in a 4 catcher league.
They're gonna have room after they
Alfaro.
trade Will Myers and Jake Cronenworth to the White Sox for Craig Kimbrell.
Everyone.
So the White Sox are going to have a brand new
God.
team entirely.
I'm just These are what the meatballs on their sports talk radio talk about all the time.
Yep,
yeah.
you're sounding like the greatest hits of the local ESPN 1000.
All right.
My brother-in-law, he's like a huge Phillies fan because we're local to Philly, and I'm a Mets fan, so no one around here likes me. He always brings me these facts from talk radio near here. This guy named Mike Missinelli who's near here. I'm like, oh my god! One day the other day, I was like, God, just stop it. That guy has the IQ of a pineapple, And then he just comes up to me, yeah, a brilliant pineapple. Like, yes, you win, a brilliant
A
pineapple.
brilliant pineapple.
Wow, that is dumb. I'll take it though. I will really ride. By the way, I know you guys are ripping on the playing time, but Eric Haas really has a lot of value in that bat for power and pop, especially in Comerica. A lot of misnomers about Comerica. It's very easy to crank him out in right to go to left field there as a right-handed hitter. So, and some of these guys that were relying on the outfield stink. I just don't trust them. So I would be interested. Barnhart is bar none the starter, and there's no doubt about that because they want him to build this staff up. But there'll be other opportunities where they want to get his bat in enough where it's going to be worth it at some point. I'm not saying he's a catcher one, but he's definitely somebody you want to get on your roster, especially in two catcher leagues.
Well, this last tier is a rosterable and two catcher.
Right.
Right.
So Haas, I think we don't have a problem with that.
No.
Danny Jansen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
No.
sure. Why not?
I mean, yeah, but I don't care. Could care
Yeah.
less.
No, I mean-
I could care more or less.
He's draftable. Like if you're gonna draft champions or a deep league, sure.
Yep. Austin Nola.
Yeah.
You have to. He's probably the starter as of right now.
Yeah.
Jan Gomes.
Yes.
See, I don't see him getting enough at bats.
If
well,
they
I
trade
think-
Contreras, he will.
Yeah. Plus, he's their Contreras could easily be the team's DH.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's a good point.
All right. I don't have an issue. All right. Stallings and Tucker Barnhart.
Yep.
Both of them are going to be their starting catchers.
Yeah,
right?
Stallings going to play a lot. I don't know if that's going to mean anything to his bottom line or if he's going to look like a 10 home run 240 guy. But
Yeah.
He's
But
gonna
I
play.
think if you start every day two catcher, you just sadly that makes you a thing.
yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'd be wary of that. This is more Jacob Stallings talk than we ever needed to have, but they had 4 catchers on their roster. They had 4 catchers on their major league roster at the end of the year in September last year. So they got some guys they liked down, just mixed around. I know they traded
He's
for
the goal-
Stallings, but
He's the Gold Glover.
All right. So I'll group these guys together. Torrens and Tom Murphy. Which one would you rather draft?
I'd rather have Murphy for the
Neither?
power. I mean, I think you draft neither.
Okay. So they're not, neither of them are in that draftable tier.
Nope.
All right.
I like
Mejia.
Cal Raleigh. I do.
Mejia.
Yeah,
cool.
I like him as a flyer.
Yeah, I do too.
He could easily overtake those two and probably will.
Okay. Mejia, yes.
Love
Absolutely.
Mejia.
Absolutely.
I'm with Matt there.
Oh,
I
yeah,
drafted him too heavily last year, and he kind of let me down. So.
Alfaro, no, right?
No.
No.
Next one I see here is Melendez and Moreno. I don't think either guy is up enough in the beginning of the year to be draftable.
Yep. The
Yep.
Rushman issue there.
Yep. And then we have Heim and Jeffers.
Love Jeffers.
I like Jeffers. I like Heim. I'm good with both of them as draftable.
Okay.
Does that do it? Are we done?
Does
We stop with
anyone want to draft Roberto Perez?
I mean, I think you got to put him on the list. I do.
Yeah, I think he's the only. Unless Martin Maldonado for the same argument. Or not?
Very underrated, man. He plays. If he plays.
If you play, you're draftable.
All right.
Yeah.
Is anyone writing this down? Because I'm going to forget this.
I thought you were writing it down.
I thought Govia
I think we recorded it, so that's a good news.
All right. So we're good. We're
Someone
good with
said
those
they were
guys.
writing it down.
I thought Govia
Yeah.
said he was doing that.
We should have recorded this show. That's what we should have done.
Yeah, good thing we're
Should I
doing
go
that.
back and listen to all of it rather than just write it down?
All right. The next guy who I think is the technical starter is
There's
Austin
no one
Hedges.
else. Let's stop this nonsense.
Yeah, this is. Please
Austin-
put
Austin
us out of our
Hedges.
misery.
Are we in a 45-team league? Shut it down.
All
right, we're good.
If you haven't drafted a catcher,
Yeah.
you just draft Buster Posey because you've lost.
Well, there it is. I think we did a pretty good job. There it is. That's your
Cam
catcher
Gallagher.
rankings.
Sam Gallagher
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. Go put on a Gallagher DVD and draft Gallagher. It'll be great. All right, that's it. Catcher rankings in a nutshell from Rotofanatic. This is your crew. Make sure you're following everybody that you see on the screen here. All of our Twitter tags are readily available for you. And of course, Roto_Fanatic on Twitter, where you'll find all the information you need. Plus, we haven't mentioned it yet. Check out the Data Monster if you're looking to dive into these catchers. Who you want to take in round 48 or round 49, you can't decide. The Data Monster will be the difference maker for you.
We
I think.
we will have, I don't know exactly how it's going to look, but a Data Monster driven MLB Network shredder type thing for each position.
Got a sneak peek. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, so don't know what we're going to call it, how we're going to do it, exactly how it's going to look, but look out for that soon. Hopefully that'll be coming in the next week.
Hey, thanks for listening to a half hour of us just read off mediocre catchers for the last little bit. That was good.
Hope we didn't put you to sleep.
Yeah. Well, go to rotofanatic.com and enjoy yourself. Wake up to the wonderful writings of guys like Mike Carter, Davey Funnell, etc. Thanks, everybody.